It was December on Lake Michigan, the kind of December that felt more like a punishment than a season. The sky was iron gray, the water black and cruel, and the wind cut through our coats like knives. Our ship pitched and groaned as we made our way through the icy waters, the deck slick with frozen spray. I'd been a sailor for nearly 20 years, but nothing prepared me for what I saw that day. One of the younger crew had taken out his binoculars, scanning the horizon the way we always did on the lake, half out of habit, half out of boredom. But then his voice cracked through the cold air, sharp and urgent. "There's something out there," he shouted, pointing toward a pale sliver in the distance. We all turned, squinting through the haze. At first, it looked like nothing more than a drifting chunk of ice, one of hundreds we'd passed. But then I saw it. Movement. A shape. A flash of fur against the white. My chest tightened. It was a cat. A cat stranded on a slab of ice, miles from shore, alone in the middle of the lake. At first, I thought I was imagining it. No animal could have ended up there alive. But as we drew closer, there was no denying it. The poor thing was clinging to the ice, soaked to the skin, its fur matted, its tiny body trembling. And then I heard it, faint but sharp, a cry carried on the wind. The captain cursed under his breath. If that floe breaks, it's finished. We had to act fast, but the waves were too wild to risk sending more than one man in a launch. The ice could shatter at any moment, and the small boat itself could capsize if overloaded. "I'll do it," I said before anyone else could speak. The crew looked at me as though I'd lost my mind, but I didn't care. Something inside me, deeper than reason, told me that I couldn't let that animal die out there. The small boat was lowered into the frigid water, ropes creaking, wood groaning. The wind screamed in my ears as I gripped the oars and pulled hard, every stroke a battle against the waves. My arms burned, my chest heaved, and the lake seemed determined to drag me under. As I neared the floe, the sound of cracking ice echoed through the water like gunshots. The cat's eyes locked onto mine, wide, terrified, and yet full of a desperate spark of life. Its cries tore through me. "Easy, little one," I whispered, though I knew it couldn't hear me over the storm. The floe shifted dangerously as I edged the boat closer. I reached out with frozen fingers, my breath ragged. The cat was too weak to fight, too cold to run. When I grabbed it, it let out one last pitiful cry before collapsing into my arms. I pulled it to my chest, feeling its tiny body shiver against me. I held it tight with one arm and rowed with the other, every wave threatening to tip us over, every second a fight against the dark water that wanted us both. By the time I reached the ship, my muscles were screaming and my hands were numb. The crew leaned over the rails, shouting, pulling me up with ropes and arms. My legs buckled when I hit the deck, but I didn't care. Because in my soaked coat, pressed against my chest, I felt it. A heartbeat. The cat was alive. We wrapped it in rags and blankets, setting it near the galley stove. It took hours before its trembling eased, before the faint sound of purring rose out of its fragile chest. None of us spoke much, but the silence was heavy with something sacred. That night, as the storm raged outside, the cat slept curled in an old wool cap beside the fire. I watched it breathe, each rise and fall of its chest a quiet miracle. Days turned into weeks, and the cat never left us. We named it Ice. It ate scraps from the galley, curled up in hammocks, and perched proudly on the prow, as though it had always belonged to the lake and the ship. It wasn't just an animal anymore. It was crew. And for me, it was something more. I had seen men lost to the waters of Lake Michigan. I had seen the way it swallowed lives without mercy. That cat should have been another casualty, just a speck of fur on the endless ice. But it wasn't. Somehow it had survived long enough for us to find it, for me to find it. I think in some strange way that cat saved me too, reminded me that even in the coldest, darkest places, life fights to hold on. We often think miracles are loud, thunder, fire, lightning, but sometimes miracles are small and quiet, like a cat's cry carried on the wind over an endless lake. That day, Lake Michigan tried to take another life, but it failed. Because sometimes the world gives you one chance to do the right thing, and if you're brave enough to take it, you carry the proof with you forever. And for me, that proof has fur, whiskers, and a name: ice.